So browser methods we have seen yesterday, right? So any method you apply on the driver instance, those are called browser methods. So we know browser methods, driver.get of URL. So basically it opens the given URL. Driver.get title, which returns a string type data. So which fetches the current page title. So this one, this page title it will fetch. And then we have current page absolute URL, this address bar URL, if you want to fetch. And you need to call get current URL. So driver.get current URL we have to use. And then we have get page source method, which fetches the current page source code. And you can use that to retrieve that source code. Okay. Source code of the page, you can get it. Okay. So then we have a get window handle. So it fetches the current window ID, which returns a string type data. So another one, get window handles. So which is going to fetch all the window IDs which are opened by WebDriver. And then we have seen so window handles, that's a very important one. And then we have a driver.close method, which closes the current window. So where your so cursor is there, that window will be closed. So if you have multiple windows, okay, where is your cursor? Your cursor is on which window? So that window only will be closed. So that's the this get window, close method. And then we have a quit method, which closes all the current windows, all the windows that are opened by WebDriver. So these are the methods, all browser methods. Let's go and see. Next type of methods is switch to methods. You can find all the methods here. I kept it here. 2020 February archive. You can find out here. So now switch to methods. So switch to methods means you want to switch. You want to switch, right? You want to switch based on the window, frame, or alert. You can call switch to methods. So switch to method is basically you can move the cursor from current window to required window, or current frame to required frame, or alert dialog box. You can switch. That's a switch to. That means move to. From current page, you move to a specified window or frame or alert dialog box. So how can you switch to the specific window? So we have a driver is the WebDriver instance dot switch to method dot window of window reference. So you can switch to a specific window. So you can specify here what window you want to go. Switch to the frames. Driver dot switch to method dot frame of string frame locator. String frame locator. So that is the switch to the frames. Then we have a driver dot switch to method dot frame of int index. You can switch to a frame based on the particular index number also. Or you can switch to the frame using web element also. So see, can you see here method name is same here, but only arguments are changing. So this is the method overloading concept. So this is how to switch to the frames. And can I use this driver dot switch to method dot window of window reference directly? You cannot use, because you need a window ID, right? How can you get window IDs? How can you get window IDs?
By findElement.
Get window handles. You have to use get window handle method, get window handles method. Both you have to use before calling this method, this line of code. So before calling this line of code, you should call first driver dot switch to method dot window ID you have to pass, right? You need to get this window ID with get window handle, get window handles methods. First call parent window ID. So string PID equal to driver dot get window handle. First step. Second step, set angular brackets string handles equal to driver dot get window handles. So that all the window IDs you will get, and you extract with a collection concept. Either you can use a iterator concept to extract each window ID, or you can use a loop to iterate one by one. Then so which window you want to go, that window, and so which window you want to go, both you can have them. And then pass that window ID, which window you want to go. So multiple windows, if you want to switch, use the loop by calling get window handle, get window handles. So collection you can iterate, right? Using a for loop or for each loop or iterator concept. That's how you will handle multiple windows. So this is the frames. If you want to handle frames, you call this directly driver dot switch to method dot frame of string frame locator, driver dot switch to method dot frame of int index, and internal frames. There are two types of frames: normal frames and internal frames. So internal frames, you have to first identify that web element. Then that web element you can pass to frame method as an argument. So that's the how to switch to the frames. Then how to switch to the alert boxes. So alerts are designed by JavaScript code. So those are not going to have any element identification, nothing will be there. Then how can you handle them? So you have to write this code. Alert reference variable equal to driver dot switch to method dot alert method. So then here alert is an interface. Alert is an interface. And reference variable dot, so you can call that. So that's the how can you switch to the alerts. So any alert, this is the same code you have to write. Then if you want to handle this reference dot accept method, if you want to handle that alerts. If you want to dismiss those alerts, and dismiss method you will call. So that's how to switch to the alerts, frames, and windows. Okay, so everything you can find here. Please go through the all the step by step. Then we have a navigate methods. So navigation methods, browser navigation methods. So you want to navigate from this URL to different URL, or you want to navigate previous page, or you want to navigate to next page, or you want to refresh the page. All browser actions, browser navigation actions, if you want to do, you will call this navigate method. On the browser, you have to call navigate method. So navigate method is an abstraction. So basically, which helps for the driver to access the browser's history. So you can go back, you can come front, you can refresh, you can navigate to one URL to other URLs. All these actions you can perform with this navigate method. So navigate dot to of URL, so which opens the URL and maintains the browser history. Then what is a driver.get method will do? So you'll get the difference here below in a few, just wait for a few minutes. So that's the to of URL, and the syntax is driver.navigate method dot to of the URL. So in the current page, it will navigate to that given URL. That's what the navigation methods, first navigation method. Okay, and next we have a back method. So it navigates to previous page. You want to go to previous page. So then you just call this code driver.navigate method dot back method. Driver.navigate method dot back method. Next, forward. So your browser forward button is enabled. Then you can call this forward method. So driver.navigate method dot forward you can write. And then we have a refresh method. You can refresh the current page, entire page you can refresh using refresh method. So then syntax is driver.navigate method dot refresh method you have to call. See, driver is an object reference variable. Okay, so you cannot that's not a method. It's a reference of object. It's a reference variable. So that is this navigation methods. Then what is the difference between get of URL and navigate of to URL? So our navigate method. Basically, they will ask in the interview, what is the difference between so get method and navigate method? So that's what the question you will get. So you have to tell, so navigate method, okay. So first understand a get method, what it does. So it doesn't allow driver to access browser history. That's a get method. So while navigate method allows the driver to access browser's history, navigate to the given URL. So that's the navigate method purpose. You have right navigate method after you have to of URL, navigate method dot back, navigate method dot forward. You have all the browser history you can navigate. So that's the navigate method, first point. The second point, you cannot navigate back and forward using get method. So while the same can be achieved through navigate method. So there is no specific method for refresh a web page in get, while navigate method has a refresh method. So another one, how can you refresh the page using get method? So the simple answer is call the get method twice, driver.get and driver.get one more time. So then obviously it will reload the page, right? So that's what you need to do. So that's all about navigation methods, all the navigation methods. Any questions? Okay. So we have seen switch-to methods, navigation methods, and we have one more. So basically locators, the next one, findElement methods are there. So let's go and see findElement methods. So you need to find the element in the web page. So how can you find the element? We have a find element by dot locator, locator value. So it finds the first web element in a web page based on the given locator. That's the find element method. No definition. So what it will do, it will find the web element. So web element is an interface, element name equal to driver dot find element by dot locator of locator value. So locators you know already. So you can replace a locator with your locator name. And web element is an interface. So whose data type for the web elements is web element. So the element name data type is a web element interface. So web element sign in link equal to driver dot find element by dot link text sign in. See the locator place I kept a link text and link name I am providing here. So web element search button equal to driver dot find element by dot class name and new search button. So you can access them so easily with all the locators. That's all about find element method. Let's go. This is the single element, right? Find element, you see the singular and plural is coming here. This one will identify a single element. Whereas if you want to identify a group of elements, then how can I identify? So we have a method, find elements method, just S is adding. That's a plural, right? So find elements by dot locator, locator value. It finds all the elements in current page based on the given locator and stores in a list type collection. So list, so web element collection name equal to driver dot find elements by dot locator of locator value. So that's the find elements method. So list web element collection name equal to driver dot find elements by dot locator locator value. See, always you will use a driver reference for the find elements, not necessary. So you have to see the situation. You are fetching all the elements in the entire page or particular element inside. Based on that, this reference you can change. If it is an entire page, use driver object. If it is a particular element, you have to use element name here. So that's what coming here. How can you fetch particular element inside child elements? So you have another, so similar code, all these are the predefined code snippets. You can reuse everywhere if you remember these snippets. So first one is you have to identify the element or section, which element you want to identify. And from that element, you want to fetch a child elements, right? All the child elements. So that element you identify, web element name equal to driver dot find element by dot locator of locator value. So this is the first point you have to check when you're fetching a group of elements. Second step, fetch all the child elements from this parent element. Okay, so see, I'm not using here a driver. Can you observe here? So list web element collection name equal to element name dot find elements by dot locator locator value. You have to be very careful here. Find elements always returns a list type collection. Get window handles returns which type of collection? Set collection. Find elements always returns a list collection. So that means it fetches duplicates also. So that's the reason they are already so defined these methods. So you don't need to do anything. You just need to call. These are all the APIs also we call them WebDriver APIs. So these are the two lines, for example, where you can apply these two lines of code is you want to fetch drop down options. Then this is the code. Two lines of code you have to write. Just replace your locator value. That's it. So here also no common locator you have to give here, which is common to all the elements in this parent element. So that is the how can you fetch a particular element in the parent element. So group of elements, how can you fetch from the parent element? And so how to identify the elements using findElement method, findElements method. FindElement will identify the single element in the web page, whereas findElements will return a group of elements. A group of elements it will return. So that's the findElements method. Okay. So how can you fetch all elements from the particular element? Or so you got this, right? So drop down, you can apply this same two lines of code. So you want to fetch all the drop down options, or you want to fetch a particular section inside child elements. These are the two lines of code you can write. Okay. Any questions here before moving to locators? So locators, next topic is locators. So WebDriver locators. So what are the different locators we have? So you know already ID of ID value, name of name value, class name of class value, XPath of XPath value, CSS selector of CSS value, tag name of tag, link text of exact link name, partial link text of partial link name. So these are all called static methods in by class. So static methods in by class. Okay. So how to identify the element? You already seen, right? So how to identify the element? The standard structure is web element name equal to driver dot find element by dot locator locator. This is the generic formula. Now you replace with your locator. So first ID, right? ID is one of the locator. See web element name equal to driver dot find element by dot ID. So you give ID and ID value. So ID of ID value. So that's the how you can identify the elements. First web element using ID. So web element email edit box equal to driver dot find element by dot ID login email. You can identify that element. So identifying element by name, you can identify an element by name. So you can basically you can identify a single element. You can identify a group of elements with the name, class name, CSS selector, and XPath. But with ID only you can identify a single element only because it's a unique always. So there is no duplicate elements with that name, right? That's why. Okay. Okay. Next, so how to identify a single element with the name? Web element name equal to driver dot find element by dot name value. So web element password edit box equal to driver dot. So driver means always remember this entire browser. This represent the driver represent the entire page. Entire page it will represent. And in this browser, you are finding the element by name using this name value. So where you will get this name value?
In the DOM.
Hmm?
In the DOM, we can find. We have to inspect and.
Yeah, in the HTML source code you have to say, okay?
Okay.
You have to say HTML source code.
Mm-hmm.
So you are correct. You have to inspect that element, but that will open HTML source code. Okay, that page source code. So in that element tag inside, you can find a name attribute. So that's the answer you have to give. Okay. Yeah. So how can you identify elements? So in the page, a group of elements having same name. So how can you get all of them from the parent element? So this is the one list web element collection name equal to parent element dot find elements by dot name value. That means in this parent element, which are all elements are having this value, all will fetch and stores in this collection. Collection means I already told you. Collections are used to store the objects, right? So that's the one. This method return type is list web element. See return type methods. So that single formula, if you remember, you can write any method structure. So that's the Java is very, very powerful. Next. So in the entire browser, you can fetch all the elements. List web element collection name equal to driver dot find elements by dot name value. So this is the, so how can you fetch a group of elements? Next, how can you fetch, how can you identify an element by class? So web element name equal to driver dot find element by dot class name, the class value. So web element LinkedIn logo equal to driver dot find element by dot class name, the class value. So you can fetch all the elements with the class from the parent element. Maybe parent element inside all the child elements are having same class value. Then you can write this one. List web element collection name equal to parent element dot find elements by dot class name, the class value. So you can fetch all the elements with the class in the browser. Maybe in the entire browser, you want to fetch all the values. You can use list web element collection name equal to, that's why browser reference I'm using. So in the entire browser, right? That's why browser reference. So in the particular parent element, right? That's why I'm using parent element reference. You have to be very careful while using these references. So find elements by dot class name, the class value. So by XPath you can identify a single unique element and you can fetch a group of elements. Both you can do. So that's the this. So XPath and CSS also similar. So web element name equal to driver dot find element by dot XPath value. By dot XPath value. And then we have, so web element name equal to driver dot find element by dot XPath. This is the XPath value. You can construct your XPaths. And you want to fetch a parent element inside all the child elements based on the XPath. Then list web element collection name equal to parent element dot find elements by dot XPath. the common XPath for all the child elements. Every child element is going to have the same XPath. So that you can put it here and it will fetch all that elements into this list collection. So you can fetch all the elements by XPath. So list web element collection name equal to driver dot find element by dot XPath value. Even same for by class CSS selector. You can identify a single element. So using a CSS selector, see web element LinkedIn logo equal to driver dot find element by dot the locator name CSS selector. So tag name square bracket attribute name equal to single quote attribute value. So that's the formula I have used here. So then you can fetch a group of elements from the parent element. List web element collection name equal to parent element dot find elements by dot CSS selector common CSS value. So find all the elements using CSS selector in the entire page. List web element collection name equal to driver dot find elements by dot CSS selector of CSS value. So that's the how can you identify. Show this. Okay. Next, by tag name. So you can identify element even with the tag also. So web element name equal to driver dot find element by dot tag name tag. So fetch all the child elements. Yeah, you can fetch all the child elements from the parent using tag list web element collection name equal to parent element dot find elements by dot tag name tag. So this one I'm going to show you now. So fetch all the elements that are having same tag in the entire page. So the list web element collection name equal to driver dot find elements by dot tag name tag. See these two formulas I'm going to show you now for the links. So for the links, see entire page you want to fetch all the links. How can you fetch? This is the code. List web element links equal to driver dot find elements by dot tag name. Yeah, I'm replacing all this tag and everything. So if you want to get entire page links, this is the line of code you have to write. Fixed. So you don't need to change in single letter also here. Maybe collection name if you want, you can change. But remaining thing is not allowed to change. If you want, your scenario is you want to fetch all the page links. And this is the line of code. So you'll get a collection. So then your collection dot size you will get a size. How can you fetch particular section links in the web page? So web element section name equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value. Just now we have seen right in the find elements method below. So fetch all the links in that section, this section. List web element section links equal to this section name dot find elements by dot tag name A. So in this section, how many links are there if you want to fetch? Directly can use A tag. So this is the, so that's the how to fetch all the links from that. So how can you fetch particular drop down options? Same this line of code. So first identify the drop down. Okay. First identify the drop down web element drop down name equal to driver dot find element by dot locator value. Then fetch all the options from this drop down using option tag and store in the list collection. So same code. So you can use here. Then how can you identify the link? So by link text locator. How can you identify particular by contains partial link text you can use. So these are all the locators. So you can use to identify the elements. So let's join back and we'll discuss some methods which are going to do action on the elements. Till now we identified the elements. Okay. What action you want to do on that elements? So we'll see that. Okay. Thank you.